when they need to get stuff done, they get stuff done. And it is just the reality that our country is, in many respects, run by the forces that make money off of our military industrial complex. It is not just as a private enterprise. Over the years, starting 60 years ago, maybe a little more, the defense industry, the military, figured out the best way to make sure they had the votes that they needed to get more money every year was to have everybody invested. We're going to put a base in everybody's district, or we're going to put a factory that makes a part for a weapon in everybody's district. And obviously it's not in every district, but that's what leads you to something like a 363 to 70 vote on a bill that is now 5 times, I can't even do the math, 5 times plus 6 times, maybe 5 times more than the very controversial bill that would actually bring direct and material benefit to a vast number of people in this country. So that's what we're dealing with. There are attempts to add things in as amendments to the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, because it's a bill that everybody knows is going to pass. So there's always an attempt to put riders on this thing, including this time around, there was an attempt to do the Safe Banking Act, which would provide marijuana sellers, opportunity to participate in the federal banking system, essentially. Other marijuana reforms. There was an attempt to have women be conscripted, or I should say eligible for conscription. In this bill, there was an attempt to repeal the authorization of the 2002 Iraq War. There was an attempt to sanction Russians for a gas pipeline. None of that stuff made it in. And another big attempt was to stop the sale of arms to Saudi Arabia. And it had a rather, not necessarily that strange of bedfellows. Libertarians and the Democratic Socialists in the Senate joined forces to an attempt to do this. And here is what that looks like.
And we are complicit. We are arming the Saudis and allowing this to happen. Offensive, defensive, they shouldn't get any of our weapons. We should stop selling them any weapons until they stop starving the country of Yemen.
President, I find myself in the somewhat uncomfortable and unusual position of agreeing with Senator Paul.
Yep, and there you go.
He's worked with Rand Paul and Mike Lee, for that matter, on issues like this, particularly when it comes to Saudi arms sales before. But unfortunately, the narrow libertarian light consensus of Mike Lee and Rand Paul is not enough to overcome and plus Bernie Sanders and, sometimes someone like Ron Wyden or whatever like that. That's not enough to overcome the overwhelming Washington consensus that Saudi Arabia needs more and more weapons to continue a de facto genocide in Yemen. And
I imagine the administration right now is a little nervous about Saudi Arabia throttling gas supplies,
yes,
world oil supplies, and the price of oil going up. And so there it is.
But Biden this should be a little bit more from the left of I know some people are calling it out, but it's important to do so more. Biden's campaign promise was that after the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, that he was going to be tougher on Saudi Arabia. And now, because there is this pushback in the Senate, the Biden administration just put out a press release yesterday basically saying, we need to further this arms sale. We need to basically, the subtext is that they need to mend the relationship with Mohammed bin Salman, who's mad that there was this rhetoric and was withholding some oil. So that's the transaction that's happening here. And the Biden administration completely reneged on what they said they were going to do
Well, they were
Saudi
tough with that
Arabia.
rhetoric.
Yeah, I
That
guess.
stings.
Strongly worded.
That really stings. We will discuss more, I imagine, in the coming weeks.